What's up, guys? I'm back. More narrated rolling. Um, this is just a continuation of some of the roles that I had with my teammate Jason. So let's get this started. So just playing some guard, playing some Z guard on my bad side. Keeping my frames, my elbow frames in, and using my legs to form like a push-pull motion. Um, Jason gets past my leg and turns it into a cut through. So we can watch that again. Just some simple Z guard positioning. Um, if you watch my grips carefully, there are times where I'm framing, like here, and then there are times when I'm pulling as well. Sometimes I still get those mixed up, but it's like a good detail to sort of watch yourself. Um, Here, I was using my top leg as a pushing leg and my bottom leg as a pulling leg, um, and that kind of gives me a grip on Jason's left leg. Um, and if you push pull enough, you can create sweeps off of this position as well. You can see here Jason's base begins to get a little bit uh, disrupted, but he slips his foot out since he can feel that and turns it into a cut through. So right here, I'm just framing. And right here is an example of the push-pull motion. You can see my left hand right here on Jason's bicep. And in this case, I was, pulling, pulling downward. And I think like here, I should have framed inside between Jason's head and bicep for a better frame. So we'll see if I do that. Right now I'm sort of holding a frame on his opposite elbow. Yeah, so I eventually do get my hand on the inside to push him away. There's no reason why I couldn't have done that earlier. Now we switch to reverse de la Hiva. A little bit of Z guard. And I end up sweeping and coming up on top. So here, I'm on my side. Again, I'm sort of utilizing a push-pull on my legs, and you can see how like my elbow is positioned right under Jason's chin. Um, you don't want your elbow so high that they can just push past it and get an underhook on you. But at the same time, I don't want it to be too low. It won't. If it's too low, it won't be, I guess, like framey enough to keep Jason away. So when you're using your elbows as frames, there's always this balance point of, is it enough? Are you using enough of your elbow as a structure? And if you like raise your arm too much, you're exposing the inside of your armpit for like underhooks. So again, I do like a scissoring action, which um, so I pull my right leg back, and this scissoring action allows me to kind of come up. And because Jason's leg is in between my legs, it kind of pulls his leg forward and um, sort of pulls a. If I'm thinking about like a chair, and it's sort of like pulling a leg out from underneath a chair. Um, and then as I come up, I essentially am able to pull off a sweep here. Jason does a good job and immediately goes a single leg X. I am aware of this, so I have my hand on his foot to strip the grip, strip his foot, which would normally be on my hip, and then I sort of turn it into a knee cut and slip over his knee to get into a knee on belly. A little bit hard to see what's going on here. Um, I don't quite remember what's happening, so we can just keep it playing. Fast forward some. We're going out of frame. I believe Jason eventually gets his guard back, and we move back to the center. So here, I think this is just a casual roll, so we're not going at 100% intensity, but I would not recommend anybody ever just stand like this with a square in front of your opponent. Um, you see Jason has his left shin on the inside, and he has a grip on the back of my knee. He could have easily pulled me in shin on shin into a single leg X. He could have taken his right hand, grabbed the back of my left knee, and just had both of my knees controlled. Um, and when you have both your legs controlled like that, they'll topple you over, bring you into body lock passing. It's not good news if you let your opponent control both your legs. So this is just a note. I don't think Jason was looking to um, engage there, but if he's watching this video, he should know that next time I try something like this, he should um, take advantage of that. I'm just sort of in his guard, playing around with inside position, which he eventually got and swept me over. Um, so he sweeps me, and I retain some guard here. I think I was going for closed, but ended up getting what looks to be a Z guard here on my bad side. And then just Jason's trying to pass my guard, and he tries turning it into a straight footlock. And I get out of that. We'll watch that really quickly again. So playing some Z guard, Jason does a cut through, and he falls down for a straight ankle lock. So right there, I remove his hip grip on his right foot, and that allows me to begin moving my hips towards the angle where it relieves the pressure on my foot. At that point, Jason can go belly down, as long as he stops me from moving to the right in this video. You can see me, I throw my left leg over to prevent him to take that position first and to push him away. And we reset. I have a 2-on-1 grip on Jason. I try turning it into an arm drag. It allows me to come up, but I keep going, and eventually I end up on bottom. So let's watch that arm drag again. So I think the key for the arm drag The reason why I didn't successfully get it is instead of just shuffling my hip to the or shuffling my body to the left, um, what I should have done was right here when I had my left knee up, um, is to sort of uh, collapse on my left knee and drag my hips towards my left hand side. Um, I think it's already a little bit difficult to do that here since Jason has his hook in between my legs here. Um, but it was a matter of shifting and getting a big enough angle on Jason in order to stop the little merry-go-around action that usually happens with arm drags. Um, I think head positioning here could have been better as well. So as I go for an arm drag, right here, like I should have glued my head to basically the back of Jason's tricep. So it's a little hard to see Jason's right arm since I'm covering it, but you can see my left hand is already ready to go to grab Jason's far hip. Um, it would have helped much more if I just buried my head in his tricep, and that would disallow Jason from turning into me. But instead, I wasn't able to get his far hip grip. He inserted his hook between my legs, um, and that allowed him to continue the cycle of dragging me, arm dragging me. Um, yeah, so here, like I did get the far hip grip, um, but Jason had a very good grip on my arm as well, so we were sort of locked. And then at some point, I just fell over right here. So Jason's hips were higher. The reason why Jason ended up on top here is because his hips were higher than mine, but also if you look at the way his leg is um, pushing off of the ground here, it's at a 90-degree angle. Mine's kind of at a 90-degree angle, but it's not in a very athletic position. Like if I were trying to generate a punch from the ground based on this my left leg, it's not planted well enough um, to generate a very good force. So Jason pushes me, and I don't have the necessary structure to push back. So Jason gets top position here. Right here, Jason does a pretty good job just dominating me in side control. At this point, I'm thinking I need to get my right hand side frames in. So like you can see, I keep my right leg up, so it's hard for him to. I keep my right leg up, so it's hard for Jason to do a knee on belly or step over. But this is really like a lazy right leg. The way to do it not lazy is to glue my knee to Jason's far hip, to Jason's right side of his hip. Even though like my knee is not in his hip pocket, like it's glued there and waiting for the very first sign when there's just even a little bit of space. Right now it's just kind of, I'm resting my foot on my knee and it's just lazy. I think if Jason wanted to step into a knee on belly or go into mount, it would be very easy to do so. So that right frame right there is critical. So there's a frame that you should do on the bottom half of your body. So it's sort of like the leg frame. But more importantly, you want to make space in between your body and your opponent's body, especially if you're on bottom. Um, and so right here, I insert my elbow. You can see my hand kind of wrap around Jason's waist, and then I start framing. and that makes it hard for Jason to pressure into me. Um, and then at the same time, you can see uh, I take my left leg and I capture Jason's leg here. Um, I do this a lot when I'm in mount and I'm trying to escape mount. So like I'll use my left leg to scrape Jason's right leg up. Um, and as I scrape his leg up, my right leg comes in and I turn it into half guard. Um, you can do that even if you don't have the right frame in here, but it definitely helps if you're able to retain some of the space in between you and your opponent. So here I scrape it up and I immediately turn it into a lockdown. It's a little bit hard to see. Maybe I can rewind a little bit. Maybe a little bit more. So here, left leg in, scrape it up, left leg under my right leg, and my right leg under Jason's leg, turn it into a lockdown. So I'm using my lockdown to sort of um, get his weight off of me. You can see how Jason's having a harder time now since I have control of his right leg. And right there, I end up. It's a little hard to see. I end up swinging my lockdown to the left, which leaves a lot of space on the right hand side. And I don't really remember what happened because I do let my lockdown go. And because there's a lot of space on the right hand side, um, you can see I sort of insert my right arm in there as a frame. And my goal is to get my right knee underneath his left leg right here um, to solidify the inside position. Um, Jason decides to do a butterfly hook, and I push on his leg and swing my right leg in order to get close guard. Um, so right here, I get into close guard. I think Jason was doing a pretty good job with his weight distribution here. Um, so right here, I believe that this pummel would have worked if Jason had his underhook on his right hand side here. So right now he only has a crossface in, um, and I have my underhook in on Jason. So his ability to keep me flat is a little bit tougher right now. I think if Jason had pummeled his right arm here, which is just basing on the ground right now, and taken the underhook, um, he would have had much heavier, much better control of my upper body, and therefore he could put a lot more pressure into me. And that pressure would have made me much more uncomfortable. And his pummeling his leg here to the left hand side, he could have shifted his weight much better to his right, to the left in this video in order um, to keep me from getting my close guard. But I think upper body control here would have been critical for him to um, keep me past. So I get close guard, I start climbing, and I pinch his shoulders to get a dead orchard. And I finish with an arm lock. So let's watch this. So right as I get my closed guard in, I have a butterfly grip in, and so I have double underhooks. And this is good for me, so I keep my double underhooks. Um, and then you can see me turn my hips. It's kind of like a little bit of a scissoring motion where I straighten my left leg. Um, and straightening my left leg kind of uh, pushes me off of Jason and allows me to turn my hips. Um, so we'll watch that. We'll watch that hip shift here. So I sort of straighten my left leg, and there's that ever so slight angle change. And then I do have double underhooks, but this is beginning to look a lot like pinch headlock, where I'm sort of using my grips and shifting upwards under his triceps in order to sort of put his arms in a very uncomfortable position as I move my legs up um, and create a diamond shape behind. Um, it's sort of like behind, um, kind of like on the shoulder, but slightly behind the tricep. Um, Once I have that locked up, then it's just a matter of getting a grip on the arm and unlocking him. Cool. Um, this concludes just another short segment of some rolling analysis. Um, Details about the movements, I'll put timestamps down below in the description so you can fast forward to what you might find useful to you. I hope this helped. Thanks.